Today I'm going to be testing two bikes and paying attention to fork offset. So let's talk about fork offset. In the past, most 29ers have had a 51 millimeter fork offset. Lately, especially for 2018, 2019, a lot of bike manufacturers are going more towards a reduced fork offset or a 44 millimeter offset for trail bikes. And what that does is it actually increases trail. And that may sound counterintuitive, but let me show you an example here to explain it. So here in my somewhat rudimentary example, if I were to draw a line straight down the fork and then draw another line from the axle straight to the ground, the distance between these 2 points is trail. So you can increase trail one of two ways. You can slacken the head angle. If you do that, that's going to make more trail. Or you can reduce the fork offset. So in other words, moving the axle back a little bit. And as you move the axle back, that would also increase trail. So as you increase trail, it's going to make the bike more stable at high speeds, but potentially a little bit more sluggish at slow speeds. And of course, vice versa, as you reduce trail, you're going to make the bike a little bit quicker at slow speeds and a little bit less stable at high speeds. So I'm at a local race course that has about a 5-mile lap, and I'm going to be doing a lap on the Trance 29, which has a reduced fork offset, so 44 millimeter offset. I'm going to switch over to the Stumpjumper 29, which has a 51 millimeter offset, or what used to be the traditional fork offset for 29er. I did flip the chip on the Stumpjumper, so the head angles on both bikes are the same, which is 66.5 degrees. Now in the past, the Stumpjumper has felt a little bit more agile than the Trance, but that's because I typically will run it in the high setting. So I put it back to the low setting to get the head angles the same. That way I can really focus on the fork offset. So a bike with more trail is going to be more stable on the faster sections. And what I'm going to be paying attention to, oh, this is a steep climb. This is my first lap. This course changes every year. Oh. Oh, it's dry. No traction. But I can't get traction.
I was in two.
I'm gonna have to do that again. All right, this climb took me by surprise. I forgot it was here. I don't think this was here in the last race. Just got to make sure I keep my momentum going. Oh. There we go. So that climb was a good segue of what I was talking about. What I want to pay attention to is how the bikes feel at slower speeds. So does the front end wander around more with more trail? Or, you know, the fact that you bring the axle in a little bit closer, does it not only help with stability at high speed, but does it help the bike be more maneuverable at the slower speeds?
Oh man, it's very much different and cut much better.
So Dawson and I found this super sketchy line that's definitely not on the race course, but it is super chunky and loose and steep. So what do you think, Doss?
It's awesome.
I'm thinking straight down here and then turn just a little bit, like, you know, so you don't hit that tree.
Yeah, you just gotta go right there.
All right, who's gonna go first?
I'll go first.
All right, Dawson's getting the run in.
Yeah, I'm gonna go right now.
So much for a run-in. How was it? All right, on the trance. Well, dude, I have less travel than you.
Dude, that was funny because
That was chunky. I don't feel like this 44 wanders at all on the climbs. Even some super steep climbs that we did in the beginning, the fork did fine. So, I mean, this is a 66.5 degree head angle, which is pretty slack. But I'm really curious to see how the 51 feels compared to this. All right, so we're gonna go down this loose, chunky descent the whole way now. Kind of paying attention to how the fork feels and the suspension and all that. All right, time to switch over to the Stumpjumper. Okay, so this is a really steep climb, and I just spun out on the first time up this on this bike. I'm doing it again. Oh yeah. Yes, you do use your biggest tooth on eagle in Florida. So here's what I'm finding with the 51 millimeter offset on the Stumpjumper is the bars feel lighter. Like it feels like I can throw the bike around more. When I'm riding fast on tight trails, I feel a little bit better. I feel like the bike's more maneuverable. I like it. But when I'm climbing, I find that the bars wander around more, which I kind of thought it would be the opposite. So it feels like the bars just like it's harder to hold your line. I'm going up a hill. Gnarly line here on the Stumpjumper. Dude, that felt so much better on this bike.
I know, you're like,
holy cow, the extra travel.
I know, you had so much head bob on your trance.
Well, I hit the, yeah, dude, I hit the limit of the travel. That was kind of eye-opening.
That is like a bobblehead.
So on the climbs like this that are loose, but they're not ultra steep, where you're just fighting to hold your line, the 51 millimeter offset feels good. Like I said, it's the 44 was, I don't know, just easier to hold the line. The bars on this just kind of wander around more. Dude, that was loose. All right, we're a little bit out of bounds right now, but we just came down a loose section, and then this is very, very steep going up. Oh, wow.
Man, I could have made that with clipless pedals.
I don't know, dude. My front end started wandering. I was wandering into that ditch. So switching back to the Trance, I can see the purpose of a reduced offset fork. So the bike feels more stable for sure. A little more stable on the climbs. I'm going to confirm that. I'm going to switch back over to the Stumpjumper for one last time. But you know, it's just, the bike is not quite as lively on the tight stuff. I like the 51 millimeter offset when the trails are tight and fast and you want to throw the bike around. And but I can see, like, especially out west where trails are not as tight, that this reduced offset is going to make just a bike that's more stable at speed. So when you're going fast on a downhill, you know, the bike's still going to be lively. It's just, I'm talking about kind of the slower cross-country speeds, the 51 millimeter offset. It makes that Stumpjumper with 150 in the back or 150 in the front, 140 in the back, it just makes it feel less big. The bike just feels more lively. All right, I'm gonna switch back over to this bike and give one last little test ride. All right, back on the Stumpjumper. Roll it. Yeah, this bike definitely feels more playful. You know, the sacrifice that you make with the 51, I think, is just the front end wanders around a little bit more at slow speeds, particularly noticeable on steep climbs. But you know, listen, it's not that big. It's not that big of a difference. I could see the purpose of a 44, but you know, it's more the bike, the suspension design, all that, that's going to make a difference as well. Freeride boy is walking.
I made this 3 times today.
It's been a good day of riding. I did 82 kilometers of gravel this morning.
I'm saving my legs for that other climb.
Oh yeah, Dawson and I are going to try to make this climb that we didn't make last time. Whew, and then I think I'm done after that. All right, so we got a steep, loose climb. This is the out of bounds section. I'm gonna try to make this climb. So we got this steep, loose climb, steep, loose downhill. Then we're gonna try to make that climb. All right, just keep going, don't stop. Oh, my back end just went sideways. All right, put the suspension in the middle setting. I'm gonna try to make this. Oh, my legs are dead, dude. I don't have a ton of confidence I'm gonna make this. You know what, forget that, I'm making it. Mind over legs. Okay. Yeah, there's a last climb, Dawson, so you got to make it. All right, here we go. Lean forward. Heck yeah. Oh, That hurt. Oh. And one more little punch here. My legs are officially done. So you made it? Nice job, bro. In flat pedals. Dawson's been switching between flats and clipless on this outing. All right, so as we spin back to the car, I'm gonna give my final conclusion on this fork offset comparison. You know, with a 65 and a half or 6, whatever the head angle is on these bikes, I forgot already. You're gonna have to keep the front end under control no matter what fork offset you have. I feel like it's a tad easier on the 44. And if you want a bike that's very stable at speed, sacrificing a little bit of playfulness on tighter trails, then 44 is the way to go. I actually like the 51. I could go either way, whatever the bike comes with, you know, it doesn't matter. And I know that there's some differences in these bikes in the wheelbases. I can't remember the wheelbases off the top of my head. I can't remember exactly what the chainstay lengths are. I think they're about the same. But, you know, so I know there's other differences, but I think this gave me a pretty good comparison of the fork offsets. So hopefully some things that I mentioned in the video, I don't know, useful for you, maybe, maybe not. I can see the reason for a 44 offset on enduro courses, especially the ones that are rough. So that'll do it for this video and this day of riding. Catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.